Welcome to the Westside Investors Network, WIN, your community of investing knowledge for growth. This is the Real Estate Professionals Investing Podcast for real estate professionals by real estate professionals. This show is focused on the next step in your career, investing. Thank you for listening. And please, if you like our content, rate us on your podcast provider. Just a quick disclaimer, the views and opinions expressed in this podcast are for educational purposes only and should not be construed as an offer to buy or sell any shares or securities, make or consider any investments, or take any other action. All right. Today we have Devin Kelly with us. He is the new investor relations manager over at Uptown Syndication. Devin, thanks so much for coming on the show. Chris and I haven't been on here in a while, but we are excited to start off the new year with this episode. Why don't we just get started with Devin? Why don't you kind of introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. My name is Devin Kelly. I'm a fifth generation Oregonian from Portland, Oregon. Went to Wilson High School, born and raised here, and I started my real estate career after high school at Norris Beggs and Simpson doing industrial leasing, sales acquisitions. And from there, I mysteriously got paralyzed when I was 24 years old. And that led to a different passion of a nonprofit I started called Oregon Active Foundation. And we did adventure therapy for people with disabilities, kids with cancer, and other life-challenging conditions, which led to a TED Talk. And after my TED Talk, I was asked to be a TED Talk coach. And then COVID happened. So I was doing the TED Talk coaching with my Oregon Active Foundation. And COVID happened, and I moved to Aspen, Colorado, and started a property management company. So I managed about 60 homes down in the Aspen Snowmass area for owners and rental properties. And fast forward to now, I reconnected with Chris and AJ at the Oregon Coast Invitational Golf Tournament, and they brought me back home. So I'm glad to be home. So it was kind of a long journey of some different adventures along the way, but I'm really happy to be home and I'm excited to join the team.
Awesome. Well, thanks for being here and being on the podcast and coming to tell us a little bit about yourself. I kind of want to dig in a little bit more, like your kind of initial foray into real estate. You know, you said you worked kind of in commercial. How did that journey look like?
Yeah, it was, my mom was in real estate. My dad's friends, I went on a Sun Valley trip with them, and a couple of his friends were into commercial real estate, and they thought it'd be a good fit with my personality. I've kind of always had an entrepreneurial spirit and a good ability to connect with people. And they introduced me to a gentleman named Trevor Kafori at CB Richard Ellis, and we sat down, and I kind of just made the rounds, kind of interviewing with the different houses. And the more I learned, the more I realized it sounded like a really good fit. I was able to, use my creativity along with my networking skills and just solve problems and find deals. And so then from there, it was, I had want to go into office side, the industrial side, the retail side, and industrial just seemed like a really good fit for me. And met up with a good team at Norris Beggs and Simpson. Clayton Heron brought me aboard. And yeah, I did it for about 7 years, and I did leasing, I did sales, tenant rep, and both owner rep. And yeah, it was a really great experience. I got to really understand kind of the ins and outs of real estate. And then I was recruited by Cushman Wakefield, and then from there worked independently for developers. I got to see a lot of different, sides of it and all the inner workings, and it was really great. I had a wonderful career, and then it lasted right to about 2007, 2008. And well, we kind of know what happened in those years.
So, Devin, what did you like about kind of the commercial side? And then how do you contrast that to doing more concierge property management in Aspen and kind of working more one-on-one with homeowners?
Yeah, I really liked, I think in the industrial and the commercial side of things, I liked understanding the problems because, every building's different, every tenant's different, every owner's different. You have different goals. And I really like the creative ways to bring two sides together. To me, the successful negotiation happens when each party gives a little, but each party gains a little. And it was really fun to just kind of navigate through those problems. And whether I was representing both sides or just one side, coming to that kind of healthy agreement at the end of the day and making the deal happen. And just learning the ins and outs of everybody's different business. Everyone, for me, to be a good tenant rep, I really wanted to understand their business, how their business worked and what their needs were. And it was really fun to me. I got to just really live about that. And, and I think how it transitioned into, the property management, what I really liked about the property management is it was, understanding the needs as a homeowner, but it was also really about protecting an investment as well. So that was kind of first and foremost, we're protecting their investment, but at the same time, I find kind of a niche in, saving them time and being their concierge / property manager, where, if they're coming in for town into Aspen, I'd be going to Whole Foods and getting the refrigerator full and just finding those little extra things to go above and beyond to create that relationship. Because there's a lot of trust that goes in when you're taking care of someone's house. And it was more the phase two, in commercial real estate. Once the deal's done, you check in and you obviously make sure. But I really like the ongoing relationships that you could build with the property management side of things, and just make sure that you're protecting their investment and keeping them informed and communicating. And it was a good balance to kind of understand both sides of it. And I really liked the continuing relationship that was involved in the property management side.
So what do you think are the, I guess, skills or experience that you can bring from those two real estate specific experiences to bring to this new opportunity and venture that we're all taking?
I think the one parallel between all of it, and the one thing I found that was consistent when whether it's good news or bad news, is communication. And I think really understanding that, keeping, your tenants informed, your owners informed, your landlords informed, whoever it might be, but just really communicating with them, even when it's bad news or if it's no news. I think a lot of them want a peace of mind. And I think, I really understood how important that was, to just make sure that they're up to speed on everything and including them in decision-making processes. And just, and I think that really helps bond that trust, because it is a very, you got to be trusting. It's a very intimate relationship. And I think, being able to just communicate the good and the bad. It's always easy to deliver good news, but, sometimes you have to have those hard conversations. And I think that really builds that trust. So, they've got a lot on their plate. And so anytime I can take a little stress off of it or handle problems that they just don't have the bandwidth for, I think that's the real value add. And I think it's just making sure you're doing a good job communicating and doing what you say and following through. I think that's another thing is, not over promising and under delivering, just giving it to them straight, giving it to them real, and just doing a good job of keeping them informed and involved in the decision-making process.
That's definitely a key element to investor relations as well. I know that there are many syndicators out there who are having to deliver difficult news with the way that the market has been. Finally, there's some good news. The Fed is kind of laying off the rate increases and are scheduling some drops. So hopefully the market will perk up a little bit. Trent, all right, you're up.
Yeah, I'm here too, everybody. So I finally get to talk.
Yeah,
Devin, I wanted to
chopping at the bit.
I wanted to backtrack a little bit, because you do come from a family that has real estate experience, prior to maybe when you were even born. What did you learn from your mom or your dad when it came to real estate? I know you said your mom was in real estate as a career. So I'm curious if you picked up any skills or lessons, growing up from your mom or your dad.
Yeah, I think, one of the biggest things that was instilled to me, and that was from my grandpa to my parents, was they had a saying that was just drilled in, very deeply. And I think it applies just to life in general and kind of a North Star, if you will. But they said, you only really own two things in this life. And no matter what you do or what you make or, what job title you have to protect the only two things you own, because they're the most important things you will ever own, and that's your name and your word. And I think that was the one thing that they always instilled, and it's the one thing that I take a lot of pride in. And I think that's kind of helped me with that foundation level of, regardless of what I'm doing, if I can keep my name and my word, then the rest just seems to kind of fall into place. But I just think it was hustle and get back to people and just be dependable, whether it's, again, good news or bad news, just deliver it. And I think it's just keeping honest. I think that's what's special about Portland is it really is. It's a big city, but it's a big community more than anything. And, watch growth or going up and through the changes and everything else. And I think it's just one of the important staples of being an Oregonian and, and still weathering some of the storms is relationships, and just making sure that you work hard on those relationships, because the economy is going to change, times are going to change, jobs might change, but you can always, you own your name and your word. And that was just the one thing that Grandpa instilled in me and my whole family. So that's probably where it all starts.
Very nice. That's awesome. I'm going to kind of switch gears a little bit now to, we've talked a lot about your past and your experience, and we know that you're doing the investor relations job here for Uptown Syndication. So, I guess what can you draw on from your past that like makes you feel you're going to be successful at like doing this particular, position within the company, and maybe to describe for the listeners like what it is that, you feel like you're going to be doing and how you're going to do it well.
Yeah, I think one thing I really was excited about and that drew me back, I mean, it was a tough leave to come from Aspen, Colorado. As they're getting dumped on with snow right now, and I'd probably be on the mountain getting some turns. So, but one thing that stood out with even Uptown Syndication was that feeling of community, something I've taken pride in Portland, and getting to know the team a lot better. It just really felt like a community here. And one thing I was very successful at with Oregon Active was a nonprofit, was kind of getting people together, like-minded people together, and just, kind of everyone helping everyone, and really giving that old sense of a tribe and a place where you belong. I just don't want, to me, I don't want to look, it didn't seem like they're investors. It seemed like they were family. It seems, where everyone's, just one big family and community. And I wanted to kind of bring that same kind of skill set, if you will, and really build these relationships, not as just investors, but again, is part of the Uptown family, and really, water those relationships and make sure that, like I would say, we're not just watering the branches, but we're watering the roots and growing from within, and just, making it a little different, where we do things a little different, whether that's fun events or, or whatnot, but just kind of making investment more of a community of investors versus, a syndication, if you will. So I that's where I thought, my skill set with Oregon Active. I mean, we were an event company, but it was more than that. We were, a group of like-minded friends changing the community, one skill set at a time, and everyone kind of the sum of our parts are what made Oregon Active special. And I really look forward to trying to kind of build that same type of community feel with our investors and our family. And that's how I felt with the Uptown team. And that's, to be perfectly honest, that's probably the biggest thing that moved me up here.
Devin, I'm also pumped to have you on the team. It's you round out a good foursome. Trent and I and AJ, we feel like we've been missing that fourth member. So
well, I'm honored. I'm honored to be on the team. Yes.
Yeah,
I got to work on my handicap for the foursome, but I'm honored to be on the
team. Winter golf camp.
Yep.
But this year has been kind of a particularly tough year. I mean, honestly, we have not found a deal like that we loved this year. We did close on a couple deals, but there was nothing really like that would represent growth for the company. But I definitely feel like adding you to the team equates to that growth, and bringing the group up and staying focused on growth is something that we really believe in. And so even though, we didn't grow our portfolio, I think that we're extremely excited to have you on the team. And so, yeah, what are you excited about for the next year?
I think the growth mindset, learning, it's kind of what's really special about it is I've found I've been able to kind of take a piece of everything I've done for the past 25 years and apply it to this. And to me, like, I remember the 2007, 8 and going through that. And, I've been accused of being obnoxiously optimistic, but I really do feel like there's a lot of opportunity, and I think it's time to get creative. And I think, for someone coming in and really getting, to understand the business, I mean, one might look at it as there's more time to really learn it, and not everyone's busy chasing everything, So I think it's going to allow me to really pull up the bootstraps and hit the ground and really have to get creative. And I think now more than anything, it's important to build relationships. And, anyone can, succeed during the great times, but I think it's during these tough times or doing the slower times that really do allow you to get better and sharpen the blade and really just, kind of learn from it. So I'm excited. I think, it's all cyclical always, but I think it's a good opportunity to, if you can, kind of weather this storm, you can weather any storm. And I think it'll say a lot in the future down the road when things do get busy. So I'm excited for the opportunity. And I look at, there was a lot of opportunity made in 2010, 11, when those times got tough. So I think it's going through that. The first round, I think, is kind of helped. And I think it's, a lot of it's your perspective, but I think it's just, it makes all the little things all that much more important. So I'm just really excited to grow, to learn, to be challenged again, but at the same time, be able to use all the things I've learned from all the different things I've done. A lot of the previous things, I could use partial parts of it, but that's why this really felt like a good fit, from.
And now here's a word from our sponsor.
Get things done while you're on the move. Learn more about working with a virtual assistant through Offsite Professionals. It's a great way to get all the things done that you need to get done. Have freedom in your time and streamline your life by automating your business. Stop spending time on the tasks that you can delegate and start spending more time on your superpower. Call us today at 503-446-3177 or visit our website at offsiteprofessionals.com.
Uptown Syndication is now offering a syndication coaching program for you to take your real estate portfolio to the next level. This is your opportunity to have experienced syndicators, AJ and Chris Shepard, coach you on your way to controlling your real estate investing future. Our coaching program will provide you with the tools and framework needed to begin syndicating real estate in your target market. Go to uptownsyndication.com today to learn more.
The learning, the ins and out of real estate on a commercial tenant owner side from, starting a nonprofit from scratch and having to raise a bunch of money and getting people's trust and helping the community and bringing big groups of people together. I mean, that's how we met, and doing fun events and really understanding how important community is. And it's not always just about business and numbers. And that really helped. And I think that leading into the TED Talk coaching really allowed me to, really refine my passion and how to present it and how to inspire people instead of, just asking. And I think, then the property management side, I mean, the all spank yous, no thank yous teach you a lot in property management. And it was just a really good way to really, get a very good understanding on an ongoing basis of what it takes to protect an investment. So I'm really excited to just be able to use all of these things that I've, developed in the past 25 years and apply them to growing something really special with a good team.
AJ, what are you excited about now that Devin's on the team?
I'm excited for a lot of things. Being able to do bigger deals, larger deals, like Devin's going to be in contact with a lot more people. It's being able to spread our wings. I think we'd mentioned 1+1, typically like a team of two, but with two people you can get a lot more done than just two people individually. And so now adding a fourth member or a fifth member to the team, the growth is going to be exponential. And I've already seen firsthand like what Devin brings to the table, a great positive attitude and a lot of energy. And I'm very excited to see some great events coming up this year. We're getting, we just had our Christmas party, which was wonderful. Had some investors come see our new office, and very much looking forward to the market to come back to where there's some deals that we can sink our teeth into a little bit. We are forecasting that there's going to be some real opportunities coming up soon, so excited for that. But yeah, so I mean, Devin, you've been on with us a couple months now. I guess maybe the question for some of those audience members out here, potential syndicators or investors or whatnot, is like, being in this position, maybe what have you learned so far, from doing it, and then like what do you think is going to make you successful in the coming year, and maybe more granular, like what sort of actions are you planning on taking to be successful?
Yeah, I think, one thing I've really learned is to listen. And I think a lot of it is, yes, what we offer, and we offer a lot of great things, but I'm really trying to get an understanding of what people's pain points are, and what, you know, how things are changing for them through these times, so we can adapt and adjust to that. And I think I'm really learning to just, another thing my grandpa always said is, I mean, he didn't make up the quote, but God gave you two ears and one mouth for a reason, use them proportionately. And as much as I like to talk, I also love to listen. And I think that's one thing I'm really learning is listening from people who have done this before, you and AJ and Trent and the whole team, and really just, trying to go in with my plan, but also listening and seeing how things are adjusted. And really, I really want to get to know each and every investor, and understand their different needs and their different pain points and how they're adjusting, so we can adjust our sales with the weather. And I think that's one thing I've really been learning, is to try to, there's the way it's been done, but things change. And I think it's, how can I get creative? To me, it's getting creative. Creative problem solving's my favorite thing in the world. And I think coming with some background, but not I have the background, but I think some fresh eyes too, on, how we can do things a little different. I don't want to be like every other syndication. I don't want to be like every other team. And so it's taking the fundamentals, but also finding creative approaches to how to address to the different investors' needs and goals, because things are changing. And so I'm really excited about that part of it. And you guys have done a great job of helping me do that. Where, I'll come with these crazy ideas, you'll bring me back, and then we'll kind of adjust. And it's just been great a learning curve, and I'm learning something every day. And that's my favorite part. It's the growth mindset, and just getting better every day and learning more and more. So I'm excited.
Awesome. Trent,
Devin,
what about you?
Devin, and I know you're a goal-oriented guy. You got a lot of energy. We're approaching that time of year where a lot of people are setting new goals. And I'm curious if you have any goals now that you're on the team, if you have any goals that you've thought about. I haven't heard any yet. So I'm curious if you've set any goals.
You want us to hold you accountable for.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm going to ask you about all the time.
I think, it's funny. And my first goals always start with a healthy body and a healthy mind. So, it's been good to be back. So I want to make sure that I'm sharp. I want to make sure that I'm well rested. I want to make sure I have the energy to give my best. But in terms of business goals, yeah, I really want to learn how to add value. And I really want to get on the streets and really, it's been really fun getting back from being gone and reconnecting with the community that, I've been so fortunate to build and be a part of. And so my goals are really just to get the word out there, not only on finding deals and really teaming up. I think, right now more than ever, I think it's time to, I think oftentimes people look at things as us versus them, or, and just finding creative ways where I feel like we can make this a win-win and partner up with, whether it's good brokers, whether it's good owners, but just really getting creative. And I think, my goals are to go find deals when the deals are hard to find, and find the ones that make sense, and find the creative problem solving to make them happen. And having the support and the team and the experience of Uptown Syndication, it only makes that, all the more exciting for me. Because, being new at it, I think, I'm fresh, I'm ready to go, but, I'm really excited to go find those deals that people aren't finding. I'm build those relationships that maybe are getting missed, and just bringing a community of like-minded, good people together, finding those opportunities and making people's goals and dreams happen. So I think just, staying accountable to the grind.
Now I get to keep you accountable.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do.
Awesome. Well, I think unless anyone else has any other questions, we're gonna head to.
I do. I wanted to ask Trent what, now that Devin's on the team, what he's looking forward to, and just like how he feels, Devin kind of rounds out our group.
I'm most excited to learn from Devin. I know you've had multiple different ventures already in your career and your life, and learning from your experience is something that I've already done in the first couple of months of, meeting you and getting to know you a little bit. And I think that's going to add a lot of value to our team just with your knowledge and your experience. And I'm excited to maybe pick up some of those skills as we work more together. And I'll echo what was said earlier. I think Devin brings a great network and great relationship skills to our team to help us grow and continue to improve the business that we have here. So I'm excited to see how that flourishes in this coming year.
I am as well. I can't wait. You guys have been great. I couldn't be more excited. And like I said, I didn't think anyone was going to pull me up from Aspen, but I couldn't be happier with my decision. And it's just been great. And I think the timing was right. And let's go get them.
All right.
I was going to crack a joke about Devin wanting to get really good at golf, and that's why he chose this. I don't know. Maybe it didn't seem quite appropriate.
Oh, that I can't wait for. When are we going to get that swing simulator in the office here?
Yeah, right.
The ceiling looks high enough to me.
Putting greens come in soon enough. So
perfect.
Awesome. Well, I think we're at that time where I think we're gonna wrap this up with the last 4 questions. I'll start us off with the first one, which is, what's one piece of advice you would give to your 25-year-old self?
I would give myself, don't be so hard on yourself, but don't pat yourself on the back too much either. I think it's just keep that balance of staying positive, but stay hungry.
I got to follow up. Is there a story behind that, or any sort of reason, or is that something like your dad passed down to you?
It's my grandpa. That was one of the things he said. But no, I think as I get older, I think it's just, I love that I'm hard on myself. I really am. But sometimes I think that can get in your way, just like it can get in your way when you celebrate your wins too much either. So I think just maintaining that proper perspective and balance is that, you got to trust the awesome and awful, and you need both. Both are equally as important in the journey.
All right. Second question. What did you learn from your first entrepreneurial endeavor?
Not to quit, and to not be careful on the unsolicited advice you would get, and just go for it. I think a lot of people say, jump off the cliff and build the parachute on the way down. It's kind of entrepreneurship, but I don't really see it that way, because then I think you can get paralysis by analysis and focus on building a parachute. I tend to say you just jump off the cliff and the net appears. And every time you fail is another opportunity. And I think you get strength, you get empathy, and you get wisdom. And so I think it's learning how to lose. It's learning that it doesn't always go planned. Things aren't linear. You have your destination, and you got to be able to travel in the sand. So I think it really gave me the calluses to be okay with having to adjust along the way, and things don't always work out, but you don't quit. You just keep going. You adjust. And that was probably the thing I took the most. Is it's never as scary as you think, and you never have any idea how it's going to turn out.
I like that.
Yeah.
Is that your sentiments after doing this podcast?
100%. Well, let's wait till I listen to it. Yeah. No, 100%.
Wait, is that something that Grandpa taught you?
No, I taught myself that one.
Awesome. All right. Our third question here is, how has your formal and informal training shaped your journey?
I think the formal trainings shaped the wisdoms to make educated and very analytical decisions, and to, very calculated risks. And I think on the other side of things, I think it's just to trust your gut, and to understand that, lead with your heart, lead with your word, do what you say, and just trust the process. And so I think it's a balance of both. And I think, again, not to have too much analysis by paralysis, but also make sure you're dotting your I's and crossing your T's.
I'm going to kind of go off the cuff, because this is one that I just thought of, and it wasn't a templated question, but as someone that has gone through not the same experience, but a similar experience, you mentioned early on in our conversation that you dealt with some adversity when you randomly got paralyzed. What would you take away from that situation when you went through it?
To trust the awesome and awful. I think to go back to that's kind of one of my mantras. That was what my TED Talk was based upon. And I think, I think you need both. And I think it's easy to chase awesome, and awesome's important to ego and drive and everything else. And I think ego is what you make of it, but awful gives you strength, empathy, and wisdom. So I have a thing where I cheers to the same glass of champagne when something horrible happens as I do when a celebration happens, because they're equally as important. And, you tell me that at the time when I'm paralyzed that, this will all be great and everything's going to be fine. I probably would have wanted to punch in the face. But, looking back, I think, people always ask me because they don't know how it happened. Like, well, what if it happens again? And I said, it'll be the second best day of my life. And I think, you always get to connect the dots looking back, but you don't get to connect them looking forward. And I think if we all take a moment and reflect over the times we really grew, the times we really learned, I think it was those times in the pain cave. I think it was those times in the trenches that really define and really test who you are. And I think, I wouldn't change any of it for the world. Now, that doesn't mean I'd wish it upon anyone in the world, either, but I think it's just important to keep that perspective. And I think that's what it taught me, is that just understand that every loss I had in sports, every time Chris and AJ whooped me on the golf course, every time, all of that, it's, you get a little stronger, you get a little wiser, you get more empathetic. It's just delayed gratification. But cherish the wins too, because you need those as well.
I love it.
Awesome.
I guess that's one thing you and Trent have in common is
getting whooped on the golf course. Oh,
I tied Chris last time I played with him, so I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, throwing that up. I love it.
Well, cool. Well,
you won that. You won that.
Well, I'm sure we're going to be talking about a lot of those stories for a long time, because this is going to be a lot of fun. Devin, thanks for coming on the podcast and sharing your story with the listeners, and appreciate you moving back to Portland and coming to join us. We're excited for this new journey, and it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I couldn't be more honored to be on the team. And again, like I said, it wasn't just what you guys do, but it was what you've created in the culture. That was really what brought me up here, was that just sense of community. And it was just, it's all about the team. And I'm honored to be a part of that team, and I can't wait to help it grow.
And I wouldn't be doing us a service unless I ended with this. Like, Devin, if anybody else wants to get a hold of you and find more about you, where would they go to find you?
Yes, you can go to my LinkedIn page that you've helped me so diligently with. My LinkedIn page, Devin Kelly, or Uptown Syndication, or Devin, DEVIN, at uptownpm.com, or just shoot me a line, shoot me a ring, text 503-750-7961.
Awesome.
Thanks, guys. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, Devin. We're really looking forward to the next year. It's going to be awesome.
Let's do it.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Real Estate Professionals Investing Podcast on WIN, your community of investing knowledge for growth. We hope that this episode has increased your knowledge and added value to your path to freedom. If you would, please take a second to rate us so that we can get more great investors to interview. If you or someone that you know wants to be on, please visit westsideinvestors.com and fill out our form to be on the show. Thank you again, and enjoy your day.